How's it going, everybody? It's Chili Charlie, your lead journalist here at the Phoenix Paradigm. Before we get started, just encourage you to go ahead and subscribe, like, drop a comment down below. Let us know where you're coming from, where you're watching that. And if you do have any ideas or topics that you want us to cover, go ahead over to the link and drop a, you know, drop a tip or something for us to focus on. We'll come together with a nice segment for you and present something that the world can see, bring awareness to that topic for you. Okay. Today, what we want to cover is a situation going down a little further south than us in the Caribbean. We're going to be navigating Haiti's turmoil, taking a deep dive into the political instability that's going on down there. All right. If you all aren't aware, recently the former prime minister, the Haitian prime minister Ariel Henry, who was appointed rather than elected to his position with the backing of the international community shortly after the July 2021 assassination of the former president Jovenel Moise. He released a video confirming that he will step down after the creation of a transitional council. So, and that's under a plan that was agreed upon by the regional leaders. I believe that's CARICOM and everything of that nature. So, we're going to dive in a little deeper. If you aren't aware, there's a complex crisis unfolding in Haiti where escalating gang violence, along with political instability, plunged the nation into chaos. Haiti's rulers have increasingly become dependent on street gangs that control, at this point, 80% of Haiti's capital. And, what they're saying, they're demanding a say in the future of the country under siege. But um, while they were patting themselves in the back, the Caribbean leaders congratulating themselves on Monday when, after Ariel Henry decided that he was going to step down. No one's really talking about the elephant in the room, which are the number of gangs that are plaguing Haiti at the moment. So come with us while we analyze the roots of Haiti's turmoil and the role of gang leaders, the challenges it's had for any transitional council or anything like that, and just navigating the multifaceted crisis that's going on in Haiti. All right. So first, let's give a little backstory to Henri. He's the unelected interim prime minister of Haiti, and he assumed office in 2020, and as mentioned before, after the assassination of President Jovenel Moise. So he's gone through a lot of challenges. Like right after he came into office, the earthquake happened over there, so they were dealing with that, and the economic crises. He's just been under scrutiny since he's pretty much been in office. Then also allegations of corruption and human rights abuses within the Haitian government. All of these had pretty much the international stage, everybody really just up in arms and wanting him to step down. So then finally he did. This was back on, like I said, Monday. They decided it. Tuesday he released a video saying that he would step down, and that was after there'd be a transitional council created. That was the agreement. He would step down when there was a transitional council created. I believe he wants to be a part of the council. It's like going to be comprised of about 7 different voting members or something to that effect. Maybe we'll dive into that a little bit later, but so just a little bit more, it's kind of embarrassing on his part. I guess he tried everything he could to, gain a foothold and, gain some stake, gain some respect. in the international stage, but he went out to Kenya and he was practically pleading for assistance, and they were like, nah. And so it was pretty much when he got back here, um, he tried to get back through the Dominican Republic, and he was barred from there. That he was just put in this position. You know, the gang leaders had pretty much shut off, cut down the borders of the airport, so there was no way that he could get back in. And it was just, this was the only way that I think if he had pushed too hard, they probably would have offed him. But it's, he made the right decision, I suppose, especially because, you're doing too much. You were appointed. You were never really elected. You haven't had an election in Haiti for a while now. So the people are really losing faith in the government, and we'll go into more on top of that. But let's explore the roots of the crisis as well as the role of the gang leaders and challenges that are facing Henry's government. Well, that are facing Haiti moving forward. All right. So first, we'll talk about unraveling Haiti's crisis and the roots, causes, and dynamics. So, analyzing the historical context of Haiti's political instability and economic challenges, you can go as far back as the Duvalier dictatorships, particularly the reign of Francois Duvalier, Papa Doc, and his son, Jean-Claude Baby Doc, which left a profound impact on Haiti's political and economic structures and fostering corruption and repression, that has lasted for a while. There's also the lack of effective governance, widespread corruption from that time forward, weak institutions that have further compounded Haiti's political instability and hindered efforts to address its economic challenges, perpetuating the cycle of poverty and underdevelopment. When we explored the role of gang leaders and their influence on Haitian society, we can account for more than 200 gangs established to operate around Haiti. Mostly they're in Port-au-Prince and surrounding areas. More than 20 of them are based in the capital and rally around two main coalitions. So that's the family led by Jimmy Charizier, the G9 family rather, the G9 family and allies, and who Jerry Charizier is a former elite police officer. He was known as Barbecue, and then there's also the GPEP, which is led by Gabriel Jean-Pierre, and they are allied with Johnson Andre, leader of the 5 Second Gang, or AKA Izzo. The gangs are also tied to Haitian society and often align with or challenge government authorities with the political dynamics of Haiti's political and economic elite. But now they've become more independent. This has pretty much been done through ransom, and so yeah, they use money that they've gained from ransoms, kidnappings, and stuff like that, and then started buying smuggled weapons, um, like high caliber 50 caliber sniper rifles, machine guns, and all sorts of just firepower that have pretty much overpowered the underfunded police further, and it complicates the country's governance and stability that way. So at this point, just want to get your thoughts, like just from what we heard so far, what we discussed. What role will gang leaders play in Haiti's political dynamics, and how will their influence shape the country's governance and stability moving forward? examining the factors contributing to the breakdown of security and governance in Haiti. So, historically, historical legacies such as colonialism, slavery, and past dictatorships have left deep scars on Haiti's political and social fabric, hindering efforts to build infrastructure, effective governments, and maintain security. Um, also, did want to touch on the point that after Ariel Henry announced that he would be stepping down, um, and he would be stepping down, on the contingency that there was a transitional council elected. That's when Jerry Charazier, like we said, these gangs are intermingled with Haitian society. So the gang leader, Jimmy Charazier, uh, calls a press conference and says publicly that no, they don't want international international aid. They don't want international interference, that Haitians are going to settle the dispute, the issue that's going on within Haiti. So I just wanted to highlight that. That's, to me, that's wild. That, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're this deeply woven into and we're gonna watch a video in a second and just see how what the impact has been of them of the situation going on. But it's just kind of mind-boggling to see that the whole state it's a warring state. It's like a gang state. it like there's not gonna be a council. There's not gonna be any say, or it looks like, from the looks of it, there's not gonna be a transition without the influence of these gangs in there, and that's pretty scary to consider. I would say that's pretty scary to consider. We're gonna go into the violence and the turmoil in a second after we watch this video, but again, want to examine the factors contributing to the breakdown of security and governance in Haiti, and those historical legacies such as colonialism, slavery, and past dictatorships that have left deep scars on Haiti's political and social fabric, hindering efforts to build effective governance structures and maintain security. And then recently, a lot of turmoil has stirred from the assassination of President Jovenel Moise, of which a judge, no, it's a lot of corruption going on there as well. So a judge in Haiti is responsible for investigating, has indicted his widow, Martine Moise, the ex-prime minister Claude Joseph, and the former chief of Haiti's national police, Leon Charles, among others. So let's take a second, just get an update of what's going on from the front lines. Here we go. Thing need to know. So let's watch this video for a second. Just hear what's going on with the folks in Haiti.
What's going on over the past few days has me very worried, and I'm ringing the alarm bell because you have this baseline level of hunger that's already very high, and this is worsening things even more. So what we're seeing is an increase in.
So that this these folks they're they're starving over there. Like, he's gonna say it in a second, but he already introduced the concept of famine, with what's going on in Haiti with the conflict and how there's just the destabilization and everything. So they're talking about this council and how they're looking forward to it, but there's real need for like immediate intervention or something, because like, just listen.
We're seeing an increase in population displacement with 15,000 newly displaced people over the first weekend of March, bringing the total number of displaced people in Haiti to above 360,000.
360,000 people displaced.
Footprints are controlled by armed groups. The port was disrupted by armed groups last week, and is still, that means food can't come into Port-au-Prince by road or by sea. And of course, air service flights to Port-au-Prince have been disrupted. They've also been disrupted to the rest of the country. That has me very worried, because we know Haiti depends on food imports for 50% of its food supply. And we are seeing, WFP can confirm, that the cost of a food basket in Port-au-Prince is rising. It's also rising elsewhere in Haiti and the population.
So these people aren't getting the food that they need amidst all the violence going on around them. They're starving. They're being displaced from their homes. Like, it's insane. It's insane. Yeah. That's it for that video. Stop sharing and finish up. So let's talk about the gang violence and political turmoil and the impact on Haitian society. As a gentleman had mentioned, the displacement and the shutting down of the trade routes, and then the main roads, the airport. Um, will assess the humanitarian consequences of gang violence on Haitian civilians. Not to mention what was mentioned as far as their livelihood. There's a psychological toll of living in constant fear of gang violence. That's being taken on the Haitian civilians. It affects their mental health and well-being, and eroding social cohesion with the communities, further deepening the humanitarian crisis. So, and as with unfortunately, any war conflict, especially with like gangs and bandits and stuff like that, women and girls are particularly vulnerable to the humanitarian consequences of gang violence, facing increased risk of sexual violence, trafficking, exploitation, which highlights the urgent need for gender-sensitive humanitarian responses. If we talk about the economic ramifications of political instability and insecurity, we have to consider political instability and insecurity contribute to the erosion of public trust in institutions. So, like services given to them, they don't trust them and the rule of law. There's corruption everywhere. So you get involved in something, and then you're up to your neck and, begin taken advantage of. So the lack of stable governance and security undermines investor confidence, stifling entrepreneurship and private security development, essential for fostering economic diversification and resilience. People aren't going to want to start new businesses because they don't want to get taken advantage of by these gangs, when, especially because in entrepreneurship in a country like that, you're going to need to borrow money in order to do work. So you're not going to want to get in bed with these loan shark gangsters who have all the money, pretty much, are running the available infrastructure. It's just a crazy situation. But like, again, when they've got the country on lockdown, this is kind of like what it's going to be, unless there's any intervention from the outside. Or are they just going to let the gangs fight it out and then see who comes to, who comes out on top. So it's a wild world we live in. Highlighting the challenges faced by a transitional council in maintaining order, international pressure and scrutiny on Haiti following the assassination, and then the immersion of gang culture throughout the country. It's going to further complicate its ability to maintain order and navigate calls for accountability and demand for political stability. So the distrust of people, as Henry was already voted by the council, as we mentioned, I'm not sure if you all caught that, but he was appointed by the council and he wasn't voted in by the people. So are they really going to trust what choice do they have when the only opposition to the council that appointed people like Henry is the gangsters like Jimmy Shetterzier? So there's literally no one, because most of the political candidates are the politicians are aligned with the gangs. So anybody else stepping up, there's not going to be anybody. They're going to die, or they're going to have to align with the gang. That's insane. How has gang violence affected Haitian society, particularly in terms of humanitarian consequences and social impact, in your mind? Elaborate. Give us your thoughts below. Send a comment, like we said. And then before the last segment that I want to focus on before we leave is the international response and the regional diplomacy. So charting a path forward, essentially. We'll evaluate the effectiveness of international efforts to address Haiti's crisis. So when we do that, the international responses to Haiti's crisis have been criticized for their lack of coordination and coherence, resulting in fragmented efforts that often overlook the root causes of instability and fail to achieve sustainable solutions. Regional diplomacy plays a crucial part in addressing Haiti's crisis, as neighboring countries and regional organizations can offer support and leverage their influence to facilitate dialogue and cooperation among Haitian stakeholders. So, if people, it is a dicey situation, and it does seem like more and more they're going to have to negotiate with the stakeholders, being those leaders of those organizations that are running the country, pretty much after barring Henry from coming back. They're going to have to negotiate with them to get any kind of, forward progress, a way towards peace, towards normalcy, where it's not a warring state. And lives can be saved, like, at the bottom line. There's just a lot of casualties going on. And ultimately, the effectiveness of international efforts to address Haiti's crisis depends on a comprehensive approach that prioritizes inclusive dialogue, sustaining development, and good governance, while recognizing the agency and leadership of the Haitian people in shaping their future. Let's explore the role of regional organizations like CARICOM in mediating the conflict. Through its diplomatic initiatives and mediation efforts, CARICOM seeks to build trust and confidence among Haitian stakeholders, which I don't see. They really just flat out said that they don't want any kind of any kind of aid or assistance or help from them. But that's what their goal would be, and it doesn't seem like they're really that pressed and honestly about facilitating that. But I think it's gonna have to happen, but they don't seem like they. It looks like that they found an accomplishment in getting Henri off the out of office than moving forward in this because of this. I really don't see it as a peaceful transition where they're going to be, you know, polls open and these are gangsters. That's why. So they got to facilitate inclusive dialogue, consensus building. So they got to, find some ideas or common ground, and with the gangsters like Jimmy Chazir, and conflict resolution processes that prioritize national reconciliation and social cohesion. So at the end of the day, their role is really to get inside and create a bond. Where the people aren't at each other's necks no more. That's gonna be a lot easier said than done, but good luck. How would you say the effectiveness of international efforts have been in addressing Haiti's crisis, and what strategies can be implemented to improve the coordination and adherence and coherence in these efforts? Discussing the potential strategies for restoring stability and promoting inclusivity in governance in Haiti. Engaging in inclusive dialogue and reconciliation processes involving diverse stakeholders, including political parties, civil society organizations, and marginalized communities, can help foster national unity and social cohesion, laying the groundwork for sustainable peace and stability. And then investing in socioeconomic development programs that prioritize job creation, education, healthcare, and infrastructure improvements can address underlying grievances and inequalities, empowering Haitian citizens and reducing the risk of conflict and instability. But that's all forward thinking. Initially, we have to get past this hotbed of diverging thoughts and, power grabs. People up for power because these gangsters are legitimate political. In my eyes, they've the way that the country is, they forced themselves into legitimacy as political candidates. Because who else is going to run? So, um, it's a scary thing to imagine, especially being from where we're at. But this is the life that other cultures live, other people live. This we just wanted to bring this awareness to the world, as well as all the conflicts that are going on in the Middle East. We got one right next door to us, and at least we can bring some awareness to that. Hopefully, we can figure out. Maybe we got some leaders on our end in our community advocating for us first, but we got some leaders that we can try to get some dialogue or something possibly going on. It doesn't have to be wishful thinking. It could be something that we could put forward. So just some, again, recapping the questions before we bounce. Appreciate you for taking your time out and hanging out with us, learning about what's going on over in the Caribbean and just how it affects us as a whole. We got lots of relatives out here, especially in the DMV from the Haitian community. So lots of love to you all and your family and our family at large. So again, the questions before we recap: how can we better understand the historical context of Haiti's current crisis, particularly regarding political instability and economic challenges? What are the primary factors contributing to the breakdown of security and governance in Haiti, and how do they impact the nation's current situation? What role will gang leaders play in Haiti's political dynamics, and how will their influence shape the country's governance stability? And as far as gang violence, how has it affected Haitian society, particularly in terms of humanitarian consequences and social impact? And fourthly, how effective have international efforts been in addressing Haiti's crisis, and what strategies can be implemented to improve coordination and coherence in these efforts? All right. Appreciate you all for taking your time out again and spending some time over here at the Nest. Again, this is your boy, your man, the lead journalist over here at the Phoenix Paradigm, Chili Charlie. Pleasure doing this for you all. It's been a while, but glad back to be doing it and looking forward to dropping more content and giving you something to consider moving forward. All right. Make sure you hit us with a like, and if you made it this far, you might as well hit the subscribe button, so that you can be aware next time we come to you with another video. And we got some other things in the works going on, so stay aware. And last but not least, you can head over there and drop us a lead if you want us to research a subject for you, and we'll be happy to do that and put a nice segment in there and give you a sponsorship, shout you out, and everything like that. So until next time, pleasure is all mine. Again, this is Chili Charlie signing off. Peace.